Hey, Brian, good to have you here.
Great to
Again.
see you. Again. It's like our annual thing. It's our time together.
Very good. So, you're here with PRS.
Yeah.
2020 for NAMM.
Lots of new stuff.
Lots of new stuff. So what's the new stuff here?
We'll start with the SEs.
Yeah.
So all the SEs, we've got a guitar that has never been available in this price point for PRS at all. 2 full hollow bodies. So up until now, only in the core, not even S2. Now we have an SE hollow body. Not sure what they're gonna, what they go for everywhere overseas. In the U.S., this particular all mahogany version streets for $999.
Yeah. That's
absolute amazing value for the money. So it's the SE hollow body standard. So as always in Paul Smith world, standard means all mahogany. So mahogany top, back and sides. It is fully hollow. There is a block under the bridge for stability and just kind of keep the resonations in check. Great sounding guitar, super warm, vintage style pickups, the 5815S pickups. It's got the same wraparound adjustable stop tail piece that you find on a core instrument. In that same vein, there is the...
Different color?
Well, that's a different color, but here we have the hollow body 2, which means 2 maple sides. And so just as the core hollow body 2 that has a maple top and back, this has a curled top and back. So this one, same pickup, same bridge, a few other, just little appointments to it, the bound F holes on this one. So it's a little step up in price. They both sound amazing. They're both laminate back and side, top and back, which is, don't think of that as a bad thing at all. It's certainly less expensive to make, but the carved core ones are amazing, but some of the most iconic hollow body tones in the world are laminate guitars. There's nothing wrong with a laminate hollow body. I really absolutely love these. Also in the SE world, 2 guitars that were S2s before and were discontinued have come back in the SE world. There's the Starla and the Mira.
Yeah.
So 2 of my favorite models. We have one here. Here's a Mira. Really, visually very difficult to tell a difference between what this was in the S2 and the SE world, but it's about half the price now. Same pickup, same bridge. I've got a Mira that I've played quite a bit and I'm super familiar with it. And when the SE version came out and I came in to do the product demo video for it, if I had my eyes shut, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you which was which.
Feels the same.
Yeah, feels the same.
Almost the same, yeah.
Great guitar. So really, let's go back this way. The big news in the S2 world, next price category up, we have 3 594 models. So 594 has been a huge seller, probably one of my favorite guitars that they've put out. If I had 2 Desert Island guitars, it'd be a PRS 594 and a Silver Sky, and I'd be happy. That's all I need. 594 is now in the S2 world. So the S2s, all still handmade in Maryland. The major difference that makes up the price difference is the fact that the S2s all have the flat top with the bevel carve as opposed to the violin carve that you see on the core instruments. And more than anything, that cuts down time. That takes about 10 hours, like not quite half, but almost half the amount of hands-on skilled labor time in building the guitar. That's where the majority of the cost savings is. So here's a single cut, and there's a double cut. So both the versions that you have in the core line.
Let's grab this one here.
Now, a couple things that are also just being introduced into the S2 line with these guitars. These guitars have the Nitro Finish on them, which all the core guitars have changed to what they're calling knock. It's nitro over cellulose. It's the base coat. They've spent a lot of time refining exactly the best way to use nitro. Nitro has a lot of great properties, but it also can be very difficult to work with. It can have issues with cracking, and that's great for vintage guitars, but nobody wants to buy a brand new PRS guitar with cracked finish. So they've spent a lot of time, and over this past year, they have basically made a sweeping change in the core guitars to all nitro. In the S2 world, all these 594s have the same finish as the core. This has the same bridge you'd find on the core, the same vintage-style non-locking tuners you'd find on the core instrument. So it's really, it's got all the mojo as the 594, but at a massive cost savings. This is US about almost $2,000 less than the core version.
Wow.
And but brand new which was not ever even a core model, is this one. So slightly different in that you notice the toggle switch is not up on the horn, it's down here. And this is also not a mahogany back maple cap. It's an all mahogany thinner body. They're calling it the thin line. So it's a thinner body 594 with a slightly different layout on the controls. It has a wide, thin neck profile. These actually have the pattern vintage neck profile, the same you would find on the core. The name 594 comes from the scale length, right? Sure. 24.594. So both of those things are brand new to S2. So up until now, if you buy an S2 guitar, it was always the same neck. There was one neck profile. It was always 25-inch scale. Part of the cost savings was that there weren't all these options. They could keep production running because every S2 had the same neck. They've now introduced a new scale length and 2 new neck profiles into S2. So a lot of new changes, new options in S2. If this is within your price point, it's a lot of guitar for the money. If you've dreamed about having a 594 and can't afford one of those, you might have an option now.
Yeah.
This really, the pickups have been modified a little bit and tweaked, but there's not much new about the Vela other than the fact you can get it in a satin now. But there's also, the pickups have been revoiced. Pretty much most of the pickups in the PRS lineup have been revoiced since he kind of discovered his TCI process, just slightly tweaking them. And you know how Paul is, he's never going to sit still.
TCI process.
So TCI, it means tuned capacitance and inductance, and it's almost, he describes it almost like mastering a record. So instead of just trying a different, everything changes the way a pickup sounds. The different wire gauge, the thickness of the coating on the wire, then obviously the number of winds, the type of magnet. When he was working on the Silversky pickups with John Mayer, they kind of developed a new process of like kind of starting with a final product in mind, like a specific pickup that John was like, let's basically recreate this, not just by looking at what the materials made, but like almost going through it from a very like analyzing the frequency points and going, how can we make it sound like this? And the results worked so well that he went through and kind of revoiced all his pickups with that process. So it started off with one pickup, and then he did it like a year later, and the Paul's guitar came out with, he called them the TCI pickups. He had revoiced them with that. And now he's basically going through and fine-tuning all of the pickups as pretty much how he always does. He comes up with something new. It's usually available on a model, maybe then 2 models the next year, and as he really hones in on it.
Okay, so even the 8515?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even the SEs. Everything, all of them. Yeah, I mean, he really, if he finds a way to make something better, he's like, there's no reason not to do it to all of them, totally, you know. There are those changes. Now, speaking of the Silversky, no, this is this is the maple board. The rosewood board. Let's go over this way.
So many people were asking for a maple board, huh? Oh, Silversky.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We
right?
had many requests of it.
Yeah, obviously this style of guitar, there's people who prefer rosewood fingerboards. There's people who prefer maple. There's not a better or worse or right or wrong.
It's 50-50.
Right. Yeah. So that's the logical progression, and as far as like if you're going to offer another option, and John has been playing a maple board version live here and there, so I don't think people were completely shocked to see that this came out, but I know
not at all.
A lot of people have been asking about it. So there's 2 new colors. This is one of them. This is the Polar Blue, and there's also one called Midnight Rose, which is, there's one hanging over there we can check out on the way out. There are 8 colors in total. All 8 colors are available with either neck. So there isn't like an exclusive, this color goes with this. So now you have 8 colors or 2 neck options. Otherwise, the pickups are the same. The neck profile is the same. It has, the differences would be the fact that it's a maple fingerboard. It has these small outline J birds instead of like the solid birds. But the other difference with the maple neck is it is a satin nitro.
Oh, yeah.
Where the rosewood neck is still a gloss neck. Yeah. So if you like the feel of a satin neck, these things really feel amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's exciting stuff. There's a couple, there's not too much in the way of changes, but like this guitar here, the core custom 24 35th anniversary. So in honor of the 35th anniversary of PRS, started in 1985, they've released 3 guitars of the Anniversary series. The Anniversary guitars are always custom 24s. That's the guitar that started all, the flagship. And usually it's subtle differences. They instead of a 3-way blade, it's a 3-way toggle. They do they've got the little truss rod cover on the button. So just more of like a nod to the Anniversary. There is an S2 version of this that also has the mini toggles, which is different than anything you've ever been able to get on the S2 versions. The SE version has that also, and the SE also has the new updated carve that they put on the SE Paul's guitar. So the SE version of this guitar is, there's one actually right here, we can take a look at it. Probably one of the, up there with the Paul's guitar from last year and the SE hollow bodies, it's probably one of the most high-end looking SEs I've ever seen. Like, if you saw somebody playing this on stage and had to guess which price point that was, you might have a hard time knowing. Yeah. This got the real shell inlays. Again, other than the Paul's guitar, it's the only other SE that's offered the mini toggles for the switching. This has the 8515S pickups that have gone through the TCI process. And if you want more info on the TCI process, if you go to PRSguitars.com or check their YouTube channel, there's a great video they just released within the past week of Paul himself going through and talking about and explaining the process. And what I tell you is my version of trying to, I'm not a pickup builder, so it's best to hear it coming from the guy himself. Like he will describe it better than anybody will. So go to the source and listen to what he has to say about it. All I can tell you is I love the way they sound. That's what I know.
Good.